You've gone from banking to baking, and it sounds like now you're a big time manufacturer. Tell me about that space.
Small time manufacturing.
In the Jamaican context, we are mostly buyers. And I think it's time for us to start making things and selling. And we also need to realize that we have a brand advantage. People want anything that's Jamaican. So with we in BLM times now, where people want anything that is black, Jamaica a big brand from a long time. People want anything that's Jamaican. They cook drops, Brita cake, Sally's Gourmet, your jams, your jellies, your infused oil, your sauces, your pepper, bag, purse, painting, whatever it is. You are Jamaican, remember that. And with that comes a brand and a brand value. So if you decide to become a seller, anything where you sell most buy.
Yeah.
I met you several years ago in banking. I know you as a big bank manager, Saleema. Tell me, how did you get to be the entrepreneur you are today?
I would say, that was a journey, and it still is a journey as far as I'm concerned. I know people hear that word a lot and they feel like, oh, it's an overused word, but it really is a journey, because the truth is that I've always loved cooking and baking. I've always loved it. I grew up with my mom baking, and the thing about it is that we didn't have the ability to bake in a traditional way because all I grew up with was a kerosene stove. So when I talk about baking, I grew up on what they call steamed cakes. So my mom used to steam out the cakes, and it's really making a regular cake batter but putting it into a hot water bath, and constantly just monitoring the temperature. And best cake, hands down, it's the best cake that you'll ever eat.
When you made the decision to start your business, what were the top 3 things that you did, or the first 3 things you did?
So the first thing I did was I had to register the business. So that's one of the things I did. The other thing is, because I was going to be in a food business, I actually went and got my food handler's permit down by Crossroads, Southeast Regional. And then the third thing was, so I registered the business, went to the company's office, filled out the forms, and the other thing was I went to Mega Mart and I bought myself a little handheld mixer. So one thing that I've come to learn about being in business, Jessica, is this: that before you're in business as a product, you're in business fundamentally with yourself. How you feel, how I feel about a product, or how you feel about a product, have a direct correlation to the price that you're going to use, the price that you're going to charge to your customers. It have a direct correlation to how you're going to package your product. It have a direct correlation to how you're going to put your product out there. So if you don't feel good about yourself, best believe you're going to undersell your product, right? You're going to be like, well, nobody's going to pay this price, even if it's worth $1 million, because you don't feel like $1 million, you're going to sell it for $2.
So what I'm hearing is that you need to also have a vision for yourself, a vision for your product, a vision for your brand.
Absolutely. I'm telling you, Jessica, how you feel, how I didn't know this. Because when you're working for somebody else, that level of emotion is not there, right? But the truth is that having now been in a business for myself, I can tell you that if you don't feel good about yourself, you cannot fundamentally price a product that reflects a premium, for example. You will never do that, because you always think that you're too expensive, because your reference point is you.
Mm-hmm.
And I would tell persons to really and truly look into yourself and assess who you are, see how you really feel about yourself, and that's going to guide how you present and how you sell your product or service to anyone else. I started to make more pastries and Of the pastries that I made, I didn't do anything with them. I gave them away or ate them.
The risk in the business.
Yeah, because I didn't. There wasn't a lot of persons asking me for things, but I wanted to show people that I had this kind of talent, and so I made the item that I could make that I knew how to do very easily, and so some of them I gave away, and some of them I ate because you just want to be able to at least at minimum put whatever you're producing out there. So unlike baking, for example, where you create, desserts or savory products for persons to eat in a one-off way, when it comes down to products that are going to be having a shelf life, there is an actual process for that. And so I actually had to go to Bureau of Standards, meet with them, and they're very helpful actually because they have the labeling standards for Jamaica. They actually have the testing standards as well. So, for example, infused oils, I took it to the Bureau of Standards for them to actually assess to see the bacterial levels in it, shelf life level in it, and other types of components, so that when you put this out to the consumer, it's something that they can actually consume without any fear of being poisoned or having any kind of bad experiences with your product. The Bureau of Standards is there for that, and anyone who actually is looking to put a product out that will be sold in the supermarkets or any kind of retail space, not just readily consumed, you're going to have to go through that organization for assistance. So the first thing is to determine what product you're going to be producing. Now I can specifically speak to food because that's what I have done. If it is that you're producing a food product, right, then you will now move from just the item itself, as in, I'm going to be producing pepper sauce, for example, I know what my ingredients are, to now actually creating a recipe. So that's the first thing you need to do, have a recipe in place. So you know that, okay, I need to use 5 pounds of pepper plus 6 grams of or 6 pounds of water or vinegar or whatever it is that you choose, and 3 pounds of sugar, and whatever else is your pepper sauce recipe, because they're going to ask you for that. And that once you've brought in your samples and you've paid for your assessment, they will assess the product, your product. I think it takes anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks. But once that is completed, the next step now, if you're satisfied with your product, is to come to your facility to see how your product is produced.
And what if I don't have a facility?
What's a facility? I mean, it's in your home. If you're producing it from your home, they'll come to your home.
Okay.
They'll come to your home. They'll see how you're making this pepper sauce, and if they are satisfied with it, they'll say, okay, we're okay with what you've done. If not, they'll provide you with advice as to what you need to improve. So they might say, for example, you need to have a hand wash station, or you need to have your toilet separate from where you're, because remember that you're producing products that someone else is going to have to consume, right? So they need to ensure at the end of the day that you are at minimum meeting those standards for operation. So it doesn't have to be any kind of factory. It can literally be inside your apartment or your house, wherever you live. And once that happens now, then you can actually start manufacturing your product.
If I'm just a shy girl from Trelawney, but my pepper sauce bad like yours, and I want to approach a local supermarket or wholesale, what are some must-haves? What are some things you think I should prepare when approaching that person?
One of the things is, and this will come out in the Bureau of Standard assessment, your product has to have a barcode, because the barcode is needed for you to have your product being scanned by their scan device and read to say, okay, this is Jessica's bad pepper sauce. You understand? So that's the first thing. Now, if you want to get barcodes, one of the places I've gone to get it is a place called Packmark in Jamaica. They're on Balmoral Avenue, and they sell barcodes. the person. So you can actually go there, tell them you want to get a barcode. They're actually great at labeling and bottles as well. So I must tell you, that company is the best thing since sliced bread in Jamaica, because they're the ones that you can get your packaging in terms of if you want to bottle your pepper sauce, if you want to print your labels, they know what the labeling guidelines are, they know what the labeling standards are, so they can assist you with graphic work as well. But for sure, you're going to need to have that. And
Okay, so now that I have my local market under control, how do I get my bad pepper sauce to Canada, to America, anywhere outside of Jamaica?
all right, now that process actually is twofold.
So we're talking about exporting.
So if you don't feel like you have the ability to go through the process of getting an export license, and the export license actually you have to obtain through JamPro, right? Then you have websites like our very good friend Marie Sawyer's Jamgoro, because literally it's the number one way for you as a small manufacturer to put your product in a space where it has great exposure, and literally you don't have to worry about the logistics at all. Jamgoro will come, pick up the item from you once somebody orders it, packages it, send it overseas, get it shipped, and you just collect. The only person that's stopping you is you, and you just have to just jump into the moment. You know, you can't let the moment escape from you. You just have to do it. So after I watch that video, I'll put up my credit card and I say, you know what? I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to just do this Instagram promotion. Only at the end of the day, it's only $7. So I'm going to do it. And I literally signed up, took I knew what images I was going to use, and I did it. And the feedback was fantastic. I mean, like, when my phone rang and it was a number that I didn't know, and I said, "Is this Lama?" And I was like,
You're a whole business now.
it felt amazing. It felt so good. I know people may choose not to register their business with the company's office, but I feel you do yourself an injustice or disservice when you do that, because the reality is that if you want to get funding, if you want to get access to any kind of grant money or just a regular loan, if you don't have your business registered, then literally you're lost a lot of access to opportunities that would have been available to you if you
Registering your business opens new doors.
It really, really does. And as I said, you know, the company's office, their personnel is there as well to help persons if they're not understanding how to compete, whether they want to choose a limited liability company or a partnership or a sole trader, because you have those options. But it's important that you really get your business registered. It's important for you to change your mindset from just thinking it's just a me and my trifle juggle.
Well, like a thing.
No, you need to say, no, I'm my own business person, and I'm going to do this thing in a way where it's a real business. It's not a side thing or it's not a half. It's the real thing.